Hello, everyone. Okay. B3 Graphics, Colade, you are online. Thanks for joining us. Um, Pythagoras Media, thanks for joining. Hope Designs, thanks for joining. I think I'm having an issue with my network right now. So I'm not going to start from this. Can anyone suggest a good network that would help in this Insta live streaming? What network do you guys think is the best? Because right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm using both Intel and Airtel, and they are both taking me through some kind of hell right now. So which would you recommend? If anyone is on this chat right now, just let me know which one you recommend that you feel is dependable, as in within reason, as a good network for steady streaming of a video. So MTN, okay, we have one vote for MTN, two MTN. Someone just called me and told me MTN. So MTN is doing really well. Who else has something they want to suggest in terms of network? Because to be honest with you, I use Intel and I'm not impressed. I really am not impressed. I think I stopped being impressed from the time they start they started to have a cap on their unlimited, which is just ridiculous. You say something is unlimited, but there's a cap. I mean, only in Nigeria will you have that kind of oxymoron. You understand? That's just ridiculous. Someone says 9 Mobile. Does anyone have any other? Godfather, I can't even ask you right now because you are not in Nigeria. So, Steven, any suggestion? MTN seems to have a lot of good reviews, so I just might be getting an MTN SIM. You understand? So I just might be getting MTN because I've had 3 people tell me MTN right now, so I think MTN might be good. It says, you say you think it depends on the environment. That's interesting. Okay, forget your environment. Which one works in your environment right now? The one you are using, is it working well for you? B3 Graphics, the one you're using, is it working well for you? Just forget about the environment. Let's assume that we're all in the same environment. What would you use? You understand? What would you use as a means for doing WhatsApp or Insta Live sessions or Fiber One broadband if they are in your area? Yeah, I'm in Abuja. Are they in Abuja? I have to check that out. Fiber One, I'll write that down. Hope it's not because you are working with them or something. No? Because that's how someone got me to join Intel. And now I'm looking for how to auction it out to the highest bidder. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. So Viber One, I'll write that down. For some reason, Yinka would not be able to join us. Airtel does for me. It's hitch free. I use Airtel, but Airtel messes up. MTN is bad right here. Okay, so Fiber One. Another person saying Fiber One. All right. So Colade, and I think I can really trust what Colade says. MTN. Thank you very much, Habj. All right. So for some reason, Jinka would not be able to join us today. So we would have to reschedule the think tank session, but it doesn't have to be a total loss. Right now, I think I can just do a Q&A, a question and answer. If you have a question, someone says Smile. Yeah, Smile doesn't work really well in my area, but I'll note that too. So if you have any design related questions, design business questions, please let me know. And by any means, if the network starts going bad, just let me know. Leave it in the comment. Let me know, Mr. Tola, we couldn't hear you for the past 15 minutes. You understand? So I'll now have been talking to myself for a long time. All right. So design questions, design comments. You have some client issues. Please, let's drop your questions here. I was saying the last time that I'll be having a YouTube live session on my ProUp Masterclass YouTube channel. So if you are subscribed, you should be looking forward to it, because I'll be teaching you how to come up with what I call the ultimate rate card. The ultimate rate card. Everybody needs a rate card. So I'll teach you how to put a rate card together, how to itemize your services on your rate card, um, how to put your prices on your rate card. Just everything that needs to that needs to go on a rate card. And I'll teach you why you need to have a rate card too. So that'll be on Pro Masterclass YouTube live session, and that might be on Wednesday or Thursday. I really don't know yet, but I'll let you know within the week though, and I'll be putting the information here on Instagram. So for those that are subscribers to the channel, just remember to join in. I think it's very important for us as designers to have rate cards. Very, very important. It makes a world of difference between you and somebody who just goes and just comes up with some arbitrary figure, or the client just calls you and you're like, oh, I think I don't mind charging 10,000 for logo design. No, a rate card makes the moment I started using a rate card, my business life changed. I started getting people to pay me more money. I became more confident, and people looked at me more as an organization than an individual. So I'll be teaching you that on ProUp Masterclass. So if you're not subscribed, please go to YouTube and subscribe right now, and it will be a great session. It'll be a great session. So it will be called Building or Creating the Ultimate Rate Card as a graphic designer. And I guess it's going to help a lot of you with your design business. Someone says it's very okay. Clients ask for specific position to place text for him. Like when you design, the client asks you to put text here and put etc. Is it right or wrong? Okay, I think Mania's art is asking about clients that try to direct you when you are designing. They're telling you to move text around and things like that. Is it right or wrong for a client to direct you as a designer? Well, the truth is that design is collaborative. It's a collaborative process actually, and emphasis on collaboration. That means that you are working with the client to arrive at something. At this, that said, there is a place where the client cannot go beyond. You understand? And that's why you go to some supermarkets and you are shopping. You are allowed to go to anywhere and shop, but they get to a place where you see a door and it says staff only. Do not cross this line. You understand? So as collaborative as design is, there's a place where the client should hold up on giving input. Now, and that's where I kind of believe that the initial phase of design should be based on. Someone's asking for my YouTube channel, ProUp Masterclass. ProUp Masterclass. ProUp Masterclass, that's my YouTube channel. So I feel the initial phase of a design project should be very dialogue based. You understand? You must talk with the client and ask the necessary questions, get the necessary feedback, so that you can now go and work. You understand? I believe at that working phase, the client should let you work, let you do the work. If you've communicated right, the client should not be interjecting in the work phase and saying, do this, do this, do this, change this, change this. I think that is where the client's contribution gets to end to an extent. In the preliminary stages where you are still getting information, fact finding, finding out what their preferences are. After which, when you want to say, okay, I want to go and work, the client should give you space to work. So I really don't believe in clients telling me after we've gone through that preliminary discussion stage, client telling me, okay, let me see what you have tomorrow. Let me see what you have next tomorrow. How far have you gone? No. I believe the client should give me space to work. So after which, when you've done the work, you present it to the client. You should be open to the client giving their input and saying, I think, can we try this out? I'm not really comfortable. Why is this? You understand? So I don't think it's bad for a client to give you some level of direction, but it shouldn't be throughout the process. It should be the preliminary stage, and maybe when you've done some work, you want to get some feedback, then that's okay, but it shouldn't be all the way. And I know that there was a place when I wanted to start out doing design. I went to a place called Area 10, and I realized that the way designers were working, I really didn't understand. The designer would be working at the laptop, and the client will sit right next to them, telling them, "Oh yeah, move this. Oh yeah, put this color here. Oh yeah, remove that picture. Oh yeah, put that picture under this." And I was thinking, this cannot be right. You understand? This guy is just, his brain is on shutdown right now. They are only using his hand. You understand? And that's not the way design should be. As collaborative as it should be, when you want to work as a designer, the client should give you space to work as a designer. You're saying he would say lift up 1, 2, 3 steps. No, no, no. I think that level of micromanagement is too much. Where a client is telling you how many steps by which you should lift up an image. That just tells me that the client is too much of a micromanager, or you are a really bad designer. You understand? I think there should be a point where you make executive decisions as a designer working on something, and you do not let the client tell you how high you should jump or how far you should run. So when the client is saying, that text, oh yeah, move it up a bit, oh yeah, up, oh no, down, down, down. I think that micromanagement is too much. I think that person might as well just do the job themselves. So I think as a designer, you should work to the point whereby you are able to look at it yourself and say, I've centralized this thing well enough. I've aligned this thing well enough, and give it to the client. If a client is the one telling you how to align your work, then you aren't much of a designer. You understand? So I think you should find a way of guarding against clients micromanaging your project, because that's a big problem. Um, yeah, it says those guys in Area 10 are machines. They can design 10 logos in one they can design 10 logos in 1 minute. Yeah, that's what they actually do, you understand? And it's really sad. And that comes from people that design from a point of desperation, where they are designing more for, let me just design and get paid, than to design and say, let me design to make a difference. Let me design to make something work and functional. Those guys don't care where their logos go. The guys in Area 10 don't care if they never see that logo on any collateral again in their life. And I think that's really the difference between people that do design as a business, as a means of earning a living, and people that do design with a purpose. You understand? I feel very sad, no matter how much a client pays me, when I design a logo and it never gets used. I feel very sad. I feel like I've, I've wasted a part of me, because I really feel a part of me goes into every job I do. You understand? Yeah, yeah. That's what Colade is saying. Hunger. Hunger when you design from hunger, it doesn't really allow you to be very empathetic. You understand? And I have a level of empathy for my clients to the point whereby I try to drive them to be the best of what they can be. So I feel, yeah, there's a self-serving side of designing a logo and wanting to see it on a billboard. That's okay, it's self-serving, but it helps you to build your confidence. But it also helps you to know that what you've done for a client is good enough to be displayed. You understand? So that's the thing a lot of people in Area 10 or Shomolu do not have. You understand? It's just a means to an end. They go to bed and they don't think about the work that has been done today. You understand? They just go back tomorrow and do it again. And if they had to repeat the same elements for 5 other clients tomorrow, they will do it as long as it brings in the money. So I guess that's really the difference, and that's where we must learn to be professional with design. And I think it comes true with the way clients approach us. It says, Habje are saying, sir, does location affect amount of client one gets? If yes, how can someone get well-paying clients in places like Abuja? Does location affect how you get paid by clients? Well, that. There's a yes and no question. You understand? The truth is, there are definitely some places where you get more clients. You cannot compare working in Zamfara, for instance, as a designer, and working in Lagos. You just can't compare it. You understand? Because you have to realize that Lagos is more industrialized. You understand? You have many entrepreneurs, many businesses. So definitely more people will need logos. I've never been to Zamfara, but I can almost imagine it's not on the same scale as Lagos. So you within that local environment, you might not get so many people asking for your service as a designer. The same thing every other place. If you go to Canada, if you were in Winnipeg, you wouldn't get as many clients as you get if you're in a place like Toronto or Vancouver. You understand? So yes, location does affect it to a very large extent. It affects every industry, even the music industry. That's why you realize a lot of people up and go to Lagos, people up and go to LA. You understand? Because and even in the tech industry, people up and go to Silicon Valley. You understand? So it's location does affect where you are. So I think as a designer, at a point, you might think of moving to a more active area where there's more industrialization. Because it might get a bit frustrating if you are staying in a place like I don't know, Ekiti or something. Ekiti is not so bad, but but you can't compare all these places to places that are really bubbling with activity, because where there's activity, there's business, and when there's business, there's money, and when there's money, people want to stand out, and when people want to stand out, people want to brand. So yes, location does affect it. However, being in a place where you don't have too many people doing that thing too can also help you to stand out. Because I remember when I started working in Abuja, it wasn't as active as it is right now, business wise, and you still cannot compare it to Lagos by any means when it comes to business activity. But the truth is, being in Abuja has really helped me. Sorry to anybody that stays in Ekiti, but I just used the that just came to my mind. Being in Abuja and not Lagos really helped me to stand out, because I got to work with a few people in Abuja, and because I stood out so much in Abuja, they got to tell somebody in Lagos that there's this guy in Abuja that is really, really good. And maybe I really wasn't that good, but I was just good because everybody in Abuja was really, really bad then. You understand? So people in Lagos would come and say, I heard you are really, really good. And they work with me. And that's how the mentality kind of, psychology kind of works. Because really, there are really good people in Lagos, but because someone in Abuja has told that person that there's one isolated guy in Abuja that is doing really good work, the guy in Lagos just feels like if he has to work with me. You understand? So the truth is, if you have a high level of expertise, people will look for you. You understand? People will find you wherever you are. Because skill and knowledge is a light, and light just shines, and it shines brightest where there's darkness. You understand? So the thing about Lagos is there are a lot of skilled people, and so it gets hard. So many people are shining their light, and it gets very hard to shine extra in Lagos. But in Abuja, like, we have quite a number of skilled people too. But I can imagine if I were in somewhere like Zamfara now, I will shine so bright. I'm thinking that I will shine so bright that my name might actually come to Abuja, and people will say you have to work with this guy in Zamfara. You understand? So location matters, and yes, it doesn't matter at the same time. Yeah, you said something about word of mouth and reputation. Yeah, it comes down to that. If you are in a remote area, you have somebody that is really an influencer and can carry your word around. It really won't matter where you are. So it's I guess that's what it comes down to when it comes to location. J Creatives, thanks for joining. He says, I am in Lagos and I've worked with people in UK, too few actually, and others in US. Yeah, so you can work with the way the world is right now. You can work with anyone. I think it's different from my day when you didn't have a lot of social media. Now you can do your work here and show it, and people will see it in China. You understand? I was just on social media today, and I saw a guy put up a post, and he was talking about how he got to work with Jason Derulo. He's a Canadian guy. He wasn't really not really popular, but by one way or the other, Jason Derulo saw his work and said he wanted him to do some work for him, and that really got him a lot of exposure. So that's some guy in some hidden part of Canada getting to work with a superstar like Jason Derulo. So I think with social media, you really can go very far. So location does matter, and to an extent, it really doesn't matter. Do you have any other questions? Any other questions here? Let me see if I've missed out any questions. Colade says the barrier of entry for them is low. All they need is a call. Yeah. So, Colade, is you talking about this area 10 people that are working in Shomolu, saying that look, the barrier for entry for them is low. Anyone can be a graphic designer these days. Have a laptop and just know how to use CorelDRAW. You can learn on the job, and you would find your market. But the truth is, the beautiful thing about it is that the clients are getting more aware. The clients are getting more aware, and people are getting to know more about what is required from designers. Hey B, you're saying what kind of logo works best for fashion brands? I heard someone say it's best to use word marks. Okay, so I just need to know if I am still up right now. Am I still up, Mr. Tolas? Yeah. So let me know if I'm up. Oh, so I know I'm not talking to myself. If I'm up, just use an emoji of the monkey covering your ears. So I'll know I'm still up and I can answer the questions. So if I'm still up, please send me an emoji of a monkey covering his ears, and then I'll keep talking. You understand? But if I'm not, then okay. So I'm still up. Thank you very much. Okay. So Heibi is saying, what kind of logos work best for fashion brands? That he heard it's best to use word marks. Okay. Yes. So the thing is, word marks work really good for fashion brands. I don't know if they work best. It just really depends. You understand? You see, the thing is that when it comes to branding, it's not a one size cap fits all. You understand? It's not a one size cap fits all. I have this friend, Chooks Nacho. Thanks for joining. Thank God he's a fashion designer. He uses a crest for his logo. Although I've been telling him, let's redesign that logo, but he hasn't answered me yet. But you see, some people use crests, some people use heads, some people use mythological figures. It really doesn't matter. It depends on the story the brand wants to tell. You understand? If the brand wants to show a real premium brand, high class brand, then you might want to go with a sans serif font that shows like there's some tradition. Look, we've been doing this thing since 17 something. You understand? So it depends. It depends on the story you want to tell. So if you have a story as a brand, don't restrict yourself to saying, oh, Prada is using a word mark. We need to use a word mark. No, what is your story? You understand? I'm sure Versace had a story to use that Medusa head. Lacoste has a story because he was called the crocodile while he was playing tennis. That's why he used that. You understand? So it really doesn't matter. So you have to look, what kind of fashion are you designing for? Is it sports fashion? Is it men's fashion? Is it high street fashion? So that's what informs what works best for any type of industry. So don't just have that mentality that is a fashion brand, it needs to be a word mark. No, it could be a crest, it could be a symbol, it could be a head of something, it could be an animal, it could be anything. So word marks work and any other work, but it just depends on how much information and how much communication you've had with the client. All right. And that brings me to a question somebody asked me yesterday. Someone called me yesterday and said, how do colors play a part in branding? Psychology of colors. And I was just talking with him and I said, do you know what? I think the days of psychology of colors are fast going if they've not gone. I think that like ended like in early 2000s, from 1990s to early 2000. I don't think brands work with psychology of colors anymore. You know, that thing of green represents money and wealth, yellow represents being excited, blue is a corporate color, doesn't really work that much anymore. The reason being, There are too many brands out there right now to restrict yourself to psychology of colors. So you really need to think about it. What really informs using a color right now is who is in the market and what colors are they using. So it's more about attention than psychology. You understand? So you're not using blue because it's corporate, or red because it's jarring, or yellow because it's playful. You are using it because you studied your market and you want to stand out. So what I asked the person is, if I wanted to be a competition to Coca-Cola, would I choose, what color would I choose? You understand? And that's where you understand that psychology of colors doesn't really matter. Now, if I wanted to be a competition to Coca-Cola, I had a drink and I produced a drink and I wanted to be a competition to Coca-Cola. What color would I use? Would I use red? You understand? And even though red might be a good color for a beverage, exciting, it really would be silly of me to try to compete with Coca-Cola with red because they already own that color. You understand? They own it. So the truth is that I will try to use something really opposite to red, which is blue, which is what Pepsi has been doing for years now. You understand? So Pepsi did not use blue because of the psychology of blue or because blue is seen as a corporate color. They used blue because their competitor was using red. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all that psychology of color thing is kind of ancient history now. People do not use colors because of what it does to the brain. They do it because of what the brands in that industry are doing, and people want to stand out. So it's more about the attention of colors rather than the psychology of colors. So if there was if I wanted to start a construction industry right now in Nigeria, and I look at the lead guys and I see Julius Berger using blue, Segato is using green, I'll probably use yellow. You understand? So it doesn't matter if yellow is a playful color or not. It's not about the psychology of color. It's just about I want to stand out. You understand? And if you look at the telecoms industry, they're a good example of that. You see, first of all, Econet came to Nigeria. Now this was way back, when TV was still in black and white. You understand? Econet came to Nigeria and they came with blue, and MTN came with yellow. You understand? Very shortly after anything came to yellow. Now, Glow could have come. Glow was planning to come. Now, what do you think? Do you think it would have been wise for Glow to come and just say, oh, man, we're going to use yellow too? Or we're going to use because we want to be depicted as fun. You understand? But they had to use something that would make them stand out. So they took green because nobody had owned green then. So right now, colors is more about attention, less about psychology. So if you have a spa, to be honest with you, it's okay to use red right now in today's world because there are just too many brands. If you go commonplace and just say spas should be relaxing, let's use the greens and the blues, the truth is you'll be forgettable. So if I were to do something for someone that owns a spa now, I'll probably use red because nobody's using red. You understand? So it's more about grabbing attention because there are just too many voices out there. More questions. Any more questions? Okay. I have this question. It says, any standard price for flyers or designs in the US or UK? Look, this thing about standard pricing and design doesn't exist. There's no standard price for anything as long as design. As long as something is art based, you can't standardize art. You understand? You can't standardize art. Just like saying this standard price for an artwork. No, it changes every day. An artwork that was 200,000 tomorrow is 200 million. It's and that's the same way design is. There is no standard price for flyer design in the US or in the UK. I've seen people do flyers for 10,000. I've seen people do flyers for 100,000. You understand? So it depends on what the value you have in your mind for your own work is. And I guess that is something we as designers don't get to enjoy a lot. We really don't get to enjoy that privilege we have to be artists. So we kind of try to be like doctors or lawyers. You understand? And we restrict ourselves. We are so blessed to be designers. We are really so blessed to be designers, but we don't use that opportunity we have to be artists. Because you know what? Nobody can put a cap on our work. A cap can be put on a doctor's service. A cap can be put on a lawyer's service. A cap cannot be put on a designer's service. You understand? Because it's art. Do you understand? It's art. So stop thinking about what Mr. Tola is charging for flyer design. You charge what the value you feel flyer design is, and you'll find someone that will pay it. Of course, you'll find some people that will say it's ridiculous what you're charging, but enjoy the fact that there are no standards. There are no standard prices. You understand? Enjoy that fact that what someone is charging 2K for, someone else is charging 2 million for exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. You understand? So there's no standard, and that's why I really don't like those sites like those platforms like what are they called again? 99 Design Type, Upscale or Upworks or Fiverr. Yeah, Fiverr, that's the real notorious one. Because those guys try to put a cap on design. And that's just wrong. It gives the clients a mentality that there's a cap on creative work. So they feel creative work must start from $5. You understand? That five who came up with that $5 mark? You understand? $5. How did they come about that $5? It's really it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. How did someone think that it should start from $5? You understand? So someone just a lot of people tell me I'm not going to sell work on Fiverr and Upworks. People just don't want to pay more than $5. I'm like, how did that figure? Did someone just think $5 sounds good? You understand? There's no cap, and that's the problem with those sites that we go on. Those platforms, Fiverr, them, they are putting a cap on creative work where there really isn't any cap. You understand? It is what you say it is. Yeah, $5 per hour, whatever. Who made it standard for the hourly rate of a graphic designer to be $5 per hour? Why not $500 per hour? Why not $525 per hour? You understand? So it's ridiculous, and I think we need to really own that fact that we are artists as much as possible, and our work is very value based. You know what? The difference between a doctor and a designer is a doctor gives a lot of value, but they cannot scale outside of that value. You understand? A heart problem is a heart problem. You understand? A stomach problem is a stomach problem. It's restricted to whatever is within us. You understand? A human being cannot have a gizzard problem. It's just a doctor cannot scale up to saying I'm treating human gizzard problem. You understand? You can't create that problem because it's just restricted to human beings don't have gizzards. They have stomachs. So you deal with the stomach. You can't create another style of dealing with a problem apart from the problem that is within the body. You understand? The brain is the brain. You understand? A doctor cannot come up with a special organ that is there and just say, I want to create this niche for myself. So I'll just create something called the rhino. The rhino is at the back of the brain. You just can't create it. You just have a restricted canvas to work with. Unlike the designer can create an industry for himself. Understand? There are no restrictions. A designer can create his own color. You understand? You can say, I hate red, I hate blue. You know what? I'm going to create my own color. And you create your own color. You can say, I don't like any of these fonts. These fonts, I hate all these fonts. I hate serif, sans serif. You know what? I'm going to dedicate my life to creating another style of font. You understand what I'm saying? So you can create whatever you want to create. You understand? The possibilities are endless, and you can give value to it as you desire. A doctor cannot do that. You understand? He cannot create anything other than the eye that is not created. You understand? So he has to work with what God has given. So be happy being a designer and let's stop working with these restrictions. Kolade is saying the problem here is as a result of the fact that the industry is not regulated, and extensions of that is the fact that designers do not do this job on the side. So they don't value their work and time. Very good contribution. The truth is that a lot of people do not do not see design as a core job. They see it as a vocation. You understand? That's a big problem. You understand? A lot of people they do like what I call superhero design. So the person is a journalist by day, and by night he's fighting bad design crime. So he's a graphic designer by night. So you know that kind of Batman type. Well, Batman doesn't really do anything by day; he's just rich. But okay, let's look at someone like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a photographer by day and a and a superhero by night. You understand? Superman is a reporter, is a journalist by day and this by night. And that's how we treat graphic design, like superhero designers. And it can never work, you understand? You have to be a graphic designer day, afternoon, night, all through. It has to be your core job. And so if you do something by the side, it really shows that you really do not value it. So people cannot value what you do by the side. So that's a good, it's a good observation by Colade. Colade has also mentioned something which we should have been talking about today, which is it says the industry is not regulated. Very true. And that's what we should have talked about with Yinka today, talking about regulation in the industry. The industry is not regulated, and I think we need to start regulating the industry. But we'll talk about that next time on Design Think Tank. Let me just take some more questions here. Okay, let me see. J Creatives has a question. Can we say the same about typography, as there are now more fonts than ever? Okay, so he's talking about what I talked about with psychology of colors and things like that, and he's talking about typography too. You can almost say the same thing about typography, about saying that, oh, this kind of font is what should be used for this. This kind of font should not be used for this. Very true. The truth of the matter is, it's more about attention now than about originality. Do you understand? Design is more about attention than about originality. Please, if you can still hear me, let me know. Use the blocking your ears emoji, and I will know that you can still hear me. So the thing is that, as Jafar was saying, I think gone are the days when you have to use this font because it's appropriate for a business, it's appropriate for a school. The truth is that there are so many brands out there, and a lot of times it's about attention. Thank you very much. It's about attention. It's what catches attention. So that's the core. You see, the truth is that we have so many brands, and I laugh when people tell me, I used to get very offended if someone did a logo that looked like my logo. I would say, oh, this person is copying my logo. Then when I was on Facebook, I used to call them out and just say, oh, this guy copied my work. And it's a ridiculous thing to do now. It's a really ridiculous thing to do now. I think gone are the days where you try to be original. I think originality is overplayed and not and overvalued. I don't think it's that valuable anymore. That create a logo that I've never seen before, that has never been done before. How? You understand? How? It's just not possible anymore. You understand? You have 6 billion people in the world right now, and you have millions of them that have businesses, and millions of those people want identity, and all of them want something that has never been done before. I think that can only happen in heaven right now. It cannot happen here on earth anymore. I think we've gone past that. I think people like Paul Rand, Saul Bass, those guys enjoyed it because they were into it they were one of the people that really pioneered it, so they could do original thing. You understand? Then it was original to do a circle and write ABC inside it. That was like, whoa, a circle with ABC inside it. That's ridiculous. I've never seen that in my life. That's just crazy. You understand? Someone does a logo and has a crocodile, and they're like, whoa, a crocodile. I've never seen anybody. But now, what animal has not been used for a logo? You tell me the animal that has not been used for a logo, and I will find that logo for you tonight. Just tell me. Any animal in this world has been used for a logo. You understand? Any flag has been used for a logo. Any bird, any type of wings, any type of head, you understand, has been used for a logo. So it's not about originality anymore. It's about attention. Do you understand? It's about attention. So if you are using a bird, let your bird fly upside down. And people say, oh, okay, their own is the upside down bird. You understand what I'm saying? If you are doing someone's head, let the nose be where the eye is. You understand? That's what originality is now. It's not doing what people have never seen before. So it's really ridiculous when I see ridiculous lawsuits that like this person is suing because their logo looks like their logo. One person's logo looks like, as in today's world, you are suing somebody because somebody's logo looks like your own. You yourself as a person, isn't there someone that looks like you? Out of the 6 billion people, there are like at least 10 people in this world that looks like you. Are you going to sue them for looking like you? You understand? I went out today and someone said, hey, did you go to Futa? And I said, no, I didn't go to Futa. And the person said, you look like my friend Tayo from Futa. I said, no, I didn't go to Futa. I'm like, okay, all right, my name is this, your name is this, all that stuff. Should he sue me for looking like his friend that went to Futa? You understand? No. You can't look like my friend in Futa. Out of how many 200 million people in Nigeria? Do you understand? So that day of original, those days of original, I think we are reading too many old materials from them. Paul Rand. We need to discard some of those things. But even Paul Rand says, don't try to be original. Try to be good. Originality plays out after a period of time when you have so many people in the industry. So just try to catch attention. And that's what smart companies know right now. Smart companies know that it's about attention. You understand? It's about getting attention rather than being original. So if you're a designer, you're working and people are saying your logo looks like this, man, that don't matter. Every logo looks like something. Every logo looks like one other logo in these days. The most important thing is that through your own design, you're able to tell a unique story for the client. So even if it looks like the other person, the story is still different. You understand? You make your story custom made. Look, this is my company logo. Do you know how many logos look like this? There are so many logos in this world that has this TA brand. I think one day I'll do a post on TA and how many logos look like this. If I was going to get sued, I'll probably have to quit design. You understand? So try to be good. Yeah, try to be good. Don't try to be original. Just try to do good work and try to tell a story with your work. That's the most important thing. So Jafar, you are very right. J Creative. Today it's not about what font works best. The truth is explore different type of typography. The truth of the matter is, who even came up with the concept of this is a corporate font and this is not a corporate font? Who came up with that concept? You understand? It was a group of designers that came up with that. And I'll never forget an interview of Paul Rand that I watched, and he was talking about I think it was the Weston House logo. I've forgotten. And they asked him why he put some circles on it, and it was like, is it because people say he put those circles to depict a crown and stuff like that? And he said, no, he just did it because it looked good. You understand? He said people just rationalize his work for him when he really doesn't rationalize it that much. You understand? So he was like, he just did it because it just looked like it looked balanced with those circles on it. And that's what he thought. It wasn't anything outside of just trying to do something that looked visually appealing. Do you understand? So it wasn't really about, oh man, I'm trying to depict a crown. The same thing he said about the IBM logo. When they asked him about the IBM logo, he said that people are saying that font was a corporate font. And he said he doesn't know who came up with that this is a corporate font. He just thought it looked good. You understand? That he just came up with that and people just adopted it. Since IBM can use it, that's a corporate font. That means that if Paul Rand had used Comic Sans for IBM as the IBM logo, Comic Sans would have been the corporate font in today's world. You understand? So I think we need to start working without as many restrictions as we normally do as designers. We work with way too many restrictions and it doesn't help us. We can recreate a culture, cause a culture shift with our designs. Very true. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be restricted. And this is what I was saying in the last think tank session we had, as we are afraid as Africans to create a culture. You understand? We just have this mentality that this thing is not our own thing. No, this design is not our own. No. They just borrowed us to use for a period of time. They just borrowed us. Let's not spoil it before they come and collect it. And that's why we're not doing really innovative work. You understand? Nobody owns design. God owns design. He made design. He's the master designer. Yes, he used someone's brain to create a software called Photoshop, but that doesn't give the person total access. That doesn't give that person's nationality total access to this software and says, look, you guys cannot use it. I think Africans need to take more liberties with design. Take more liberty with design. Do it your own way. Do it your own way. Don't think about what this guy is doing abroad or what standard they've set. We have to learn to do it our own way and enjoy doing it. You understand? Just do things for the fun of it. Look, I tell people how I got into logo design. I had a company then called Upper Room Studios. That was the first company I started with. It was called Upper Room Studios. And I said I wanted to design. I didn't want to design a logo. I didn't even know that I had to design a logo for the company. Just one day, I was tinkering around at work. I remember I was in Canada then, and I was tinkering around, and I was just creating a sphere. And inside that sphere, I created something that looked like a visor, and it just looked like something really robotic. And I just said, oh, okay, this will be my logo for Upper Room Design. And I started using it. And I came back to Nigeria, and someone said, is this your logo? I said, yeah. I said, but this cannot be a logo. It has a shadow on top and shadow underneath it and a floating. I said, that's my logo. And the guy said, you know what? Design a logo like that for me too. I want that kind of logo. And that's how I started designing logos for people. And I was doing a lot of rendering on logos, making logos look shiny and things like that. And in the end, it became a style till I started learning that my clients were having problems recreating these things, putting it on t-shirt. And I just stopped and I realized, okay, I had to make it simpler. But I wasn't afraid to experiment. I remember the first business card I did for somebody. I just took everybody was doing white business cards, normal white business cards. And I just thought of using a texture. So I used a texture of crumpled paper. Not because I was trying to create anything original. I was just playing and I just put it there. And I gave it to the guy. And the guy, and it was actually a company I and the guy had formed together. It was called Intersection Digital Media. And he said, whoa, this is really nice. I've never seen a business card that has anything other than white on it. It has a texture. And it looked like if you had crumpled the paper. And it was really good. And we gave our business card to people. And people were like, whoa, I like your business card. Do something like this for me. Although we were never able to create something as original as that afterwards again. But it was just part of playing and just knowing that there are no restrictions with design. So that's about it. I want to get something from what Colade is saying here. It says, same way musicians do their thing. Two-Face will say yes, so the video would say 30 billion gang. These guys create a movement with their design. That is so true. You understand? The day Nigerian music stopped trying to be like foreign music, we started getting noticed. You understand? I remember way back in the day when I was growing up, there were people like Alex O and what they called Alex O, all those guys that were trying to do some kind of bad imitation of Michael Jackson. Then I remember that Alex O was almost like Michael Jackson. He used to curl his hair like Michael Jackson, and he was just like what you call a Michael Jackson wannabe. But they used to sing music like Michael Jackson. They used to try to sound like Babyface and sound like Lionel Richie. But they were always a bad imitation. You understand? Till we had people that started to sing original music. You understand? That wasn't like anything they had heard on MTV or stuff like that. And people started taking attention. So the more we feel like we all have a right to this thing called life and every aspect of life, whether it is food, art, fashion, we have a right to express ourselves the way we want to. Then and only then will we realize that we ourselves have a voice and we have a say in this matter called design. So I don't know, are there any more questions? I hope I've not missed out on some questions here. Really appreciate you thank you for your appreciation, B3. How can I fight with that spirit? What spirit are you talking about? Blessed design. What spirit? Originality is just line creation is saying originality is overvalued now in our field. Young breeds are just copying and pasting now. That's why I'm picky about clients. Yeah, I think originality is not what we should be striving for right now. Just try to be good, do good work, tell a good story. You understand? But if in the end you create a logo that looks like ABC, then I think the day Paul Rand put a text in a circle and made it a logo, it was just inevitable that someone else would do something like that. Whether or not Paul Rand did it, someone else would have done it. You know? And I'm not saying Paul Rand is the first person to create that kind of logo. So I don't know, do we have any more questions? The question just popped up now. It says, what is your take on mobile designers? Mobile designer. What is my take on mobile designers? That is people that use their mobile phones to design. I think go ahead and use it if that's what you have. I think you are better than somebody who is using no laptop as an excuse for not starting on the journey. Mobile designers should go ahead and use it. If your reason is you do not have a laptop, you cannot afford a laptop, then go ahead and use it. If your reason is, man, you just think you don't need a laptop, you just need to use a mobile device because you are too lazy to go to your laptop, you just can't be bothered, then that's the problem. That's a problem, you understand? But if you cannot afford it, by all means, use your mobile device. You understand? Start that journey. Look, when I started designing, I started with PowerPoint because I had no idea how to use CorelDRAW. I didn't even know about Photoshop. I didn't even know there was such a software as Photoshop. Not talk about Illustrator. But I knew there was CorelDRAW. I didn't have anybody to teach me. But I knew, okay, I can use PowerPoint. So I started designing with PowerPoint. You understand? I started designing with PowerPoint on my dad's laptop. Not even on I didn't have a laptop then. I started designing with PowerPoint on my dad's laptop. And along the way, I found someone to teach me CorelDRAW. And I learned CorelDRAW. Then I found someone to teach me Adobe Photoshop. The first person to teach me was my friend Kayode Onimole. His name is Crow. He's an illustrator, and he was hoping to teach me. The first thing he taught me in Photoshop was how to change people's clothes and people's color of people's clothes and change colors of cars. So I spent like 2 months changing every color of a car I could find on the internet and changing every color of hair I could find on the internet. You understand? So that's what I started out doing. So if the beginning of your journey is a mobile phone, by all means, knock yourself out, use it. But the truth is, don't stay there. As I heard someone say today, there is no crime in being a follower. No crime in being a follower. But there is no credibility in staying a follower. You understand? That means that everybody starts as a follower at some point in their life. There's no crime. It's perfectly okay for everybody to be a follower. You understand? You must follow somebody, follow a leader. But there is no credibility in staying a follower. That means that at some point in every follower's life, they should grow into a position of leadership at some level. You understand? So if I would turn that around and say there's no crime in doing design with your mobile phone. No crime. But there is no credibility in doing mobile phone design all your life. You understand? So you must learn how to grow and evolve as much as possible. Message. Okay, someone saying please click my message. Okay, I have a message here from into creativity. It says, is there a particular process in pricing major branding projects? Now, is there a process to pricing? That's a good question. This issue with pricing is a very important question, and I'm kind of apprehensive in advising people when it comes to pricing. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people will not do what I'm asking them to do. Number one, because they are too scared and they don't believe it will work. But it does work. Is there a process in pricing, coming up with a price? Yes, I have a process. And that process is charge what scares you. Charge that amount that scares you. If everybody's honest with themselves, when you want to come up with your rate card, think of what scares you. Think of what scares you and charge that amount that scares you. You understand? There's always a figure in your mind. When you want to take on a project, there's always a figure in your mind. It's floating in your mind. And you're like, nah, nobody's going to pay me that. Let me rationalize. I think they will pay me this. Then we always go for the rational price. And that's why a lot of businesses have not exponentially grown financially. I think you need to have the presence of mind and faith in your subconscious to charge that amount that is in your mind. And I'll just give you an example. If you had it in your mind, you want to come up with a rate card and it's like, how much should I charge for logo design? And your mind is telling you, put 150k there. A lot of people say 150k, Kai, who will pay me 150k? In this Nigeria, where the price of fuel has gone up, price of DSTP has gone up too. No, nobody will pay me that. A lot of people give in to that voice. You understand what I'm saying? But that voice is what you must obey because that is your price. A lot of people say, even Mr. Tola doesn't charge 150k. Who the heck am I to charge 150k? Mr. Tola doesn't charge 150k. Is it that he wasn't thinking when he was charging what he's charging? I mean, who am I? That's the problem. You get into your own mind. Charge that thing that comes to your mind first. Charge it. Put it there. If that's what comes, if you're honest. I'm sure someone will say, so I can charge 150 billion. No. Because a lot of times, that's not what comes to your mind. You understand? If you're really honest with yourself, that's just your greed talking. You understand? No. I'm talking about that honest figure that comes to your mind, that your subconscious tells you that is what's right for you. I'm not talking about you trying to be unrealistically greedy. You understand? I'm talking about something that you know it. If you're honest with yourself, it happens to me every time. And I use that in pricing. And that's why I enjoy my business so much. So much. Because when that figure comes, I don't argue with it anymore. Although sometimes I still get scared, but I don't argue with it anymore. It's not based on what Colade is charging, or based on what this person is charging, or what Yorks is charging, or what Bolanle is charging, or what any other contemporary is charging. No, it's based on your subconscious, that part of your mind that knows more than you. You understand? Obey that, charge that, let that be your rate. Do you understand? The truth is that when you charge that, you'll find some people that will tell you, are you okay? How can you be charging me this amount that you're talking right now? You're charging me 150,000 for a logo? Who on earth is charging that? You will find people that will tell you that. Don't let that dissuade you. That is still your price. I still have people tell me that, look, this amount you're charging is too much. It's ridiculous. A client once told me that this amount you're charging, Mr. Tola, nobody in this world has ever paid this amount for a logo. Nobody. I wanted to start arguing with that person that, you know what, people have paid 10 times more than this amount. But there was no need. He was not just my client. He would go out and find his own client. So charge that amount that comes to your mind if you are bold enough. Okay. Okay. Manners Art. I'm going to read your question now because you've been on this your question. Says, I was saying a client stole my design for his clothing brand and he blocked me. I later found out. What do you think I should do? Should I just leave him or what? That's the problem. A client stole your design. How did they steal your design to start with? You know what? If you want to be really successful in any field, own your L's. Own your L's. Own your losses. Own your goofs. I goofed. This person stole my design. It will never happen again. You understand? Own it. Own it. Embrace it. Love it so much. We are running out of time, but meantime, the last time I say, own your L's. I'm not saying going after that guy, yeah, you might get your money back, but you haven't learned a lesson. Learn a lesson, make sure it doesn't happen again. Forget about that guy. He stole your design for his clothing brand because you made it available for him to steal. You understand? A preview copy. Yeah, you gave me a preview copy, but had you been paid anything before you previewed it to him? Sorry, time has run out.